All right, guys. So welcome to the weekend summary class for week one. Okay. And before I move on, we have some students already here. I would like to quickly probably have a quick introduction so that everybody knows each other. I have already opened up the Slack channel, and I'm expecting that you guys can talk to each other so that you have some kind of a communication. If there is any problem somebody is facing, another guy can pitch in. I will be there anyways, but another guy can pitch in and probably help you out of it. I think it's better that we can have a quick roundtable, introduction, and then in the meantime, if somebody wants to come in, if somebody's coming in, then it's good. Otherwise, I'll get started with the summary. Okay, so I'll get started with Francis Lee.
Yeah.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
Good. And you?
I'm doing good, thanks.
My name is Franciele. I'm a QA analyst, and I've been working with software testing for 7 years, but it's only manual tests. So that's why I'm in this course to learn the automated tests.
Perfect. So you have already gone through the videos, right?
Yeah, I couldn't watch everything. I just watched the introduction, class 1 and 2, and I intend to finish on Monday or Tuesday.
Perfect. So what do you think about the course video, like the explanation of the videos? Is it okay, or is it easy to understand, or it's complex? What do you think about it?
I think it's very good. It's very easy to understand. I like very much the explanation. It's very easy to understand.
Perfect. Thank you. Next, I'll ask Ibrahim to come in. Ibrahim, just quick introduction, please.
Good morning, all my friends, my sisters, and my family here. I'm Ibrahim Aljumature, based in United Kingdom in Hertfordshire, which is near London. And I've been in IT as a profession. Anyway, I started in IT. I was studying science biology, but I moved to IT computers, studied telecommunication, worked as a payphone, and then moved on to mobile engineering, where I did IREC testing, which is International Roaming Expert Group engineering, signaling testing for between countries, and doing the setup, setting the signaling request. So I've been in testing environment, but in relation to mobile, then I moved into Cisco. I studied Cisco in engineering and stuff. I've worked in digital marketing, SEO, search engine optimization, but someone introduced me to software testing, which I never knew existed actually in terms of manual testing and automation. So I just want to carve a niche in automation. That's when I got referred by one of Sovic's old students, who is also in IT, to this program in the nutshell. And I've watched the videos, introductory videos, and I've also participated in the live session with Sovic. And it's been very encouraging, very supportive, very compassionate, and very empathic in answering every question thrown at him without dodging it. So I hope we can have an integrated class to help each other.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Yeah, we are all in this same journey together. So definitely, it'll help a lot. Okay, so Ipshita, you can get started with your introduction.
Hi all. Hello Shovik. I'm Ipshita, and actually I worked in India. I have actually 3 years experience in different fields like manual testing and middleware administration in 2 different companies. And after that, I got married and I came here in Cork. I have settled now, and now I'm seeking for job like here. I mean, automation, testing, or like that. Here, most of the jobs are like that. I mean, automation. So yeah, um, it's trending here in Ireland. So and I watched all your videos, and I have done the assessments and all. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's really interesting, and it's really good.
Thank you, Abhishita. Thank you. And the automation requirement is just not in Ireland, Ipshita. It's all over the world because
Yeah,
functional testing is actually getting out of.
yeah, functional testing.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. Yeah, so that's why. Great stuff. Thanks, Moses. It's next to you.
Hey everyone, yeah, my name is Moses. I live in close to Kildare, Ireland, and
Okay.
have about 2 years of experience of manual testing. And yeah, I've been having a lot of conversations with some of my QA colleagues, and a lot of people believe that automation is basically the main thing now. And if you do look at a lot of job specs and all of that, you see that a lot of requirements is based on automation and whatnot. So that piques my interest really to get into this
Great.
course. So far, I have looked at the introduction video. I also participated in the last week's session, and I've finished class 2 video 2 as well. So
Hmm.
yeah, I find it very, very easy to learn.
Good.
And Suvik very, very helpful, and he answers all questions well and all of that. So I'm really excited.
Thanks, Moses. Thanks. Yeah,
So, yeah.
initially, this 1 month that we have is here for you to, build up the foundation, because every knowledge that I'm giving you in terms of Selenium and Java, it is going to be your foundation stone. And then you will use that towards learning the advanced skills that starts from the next month. So yeah, thanks a lot. So someone joined here with Rotmi's iPhone. I'm not sure who's that.
Yes, sorry, that's myself and Toby. At
Oh,
the
hi,
moment.
Toby. Hello. No problem.
Hi.
So we are just having a quick round of introduction. So if you just can quickly let us know about your profile, and if you have already watched a couple of videos, what do you think about the videos, then it will be really helpful.
Absolutely. So yeah, I have 2.5 years experience in software testing as well. I'm actually Moses' colleague, Moses that spoke last. So he told
Right.
me we work in the same place, and he told me about this this course, and I just joined because I have been trying to learn automation online, but not through like a tutor that can actually answer my questions, and I can that type of conversation that we can have. And the most difficult part, I do have kind of knowledge of the foundation elements, and yeah, but the most difficult part for me is just configuring it in the in my laptop. So the configuration stage it's what is the toughest, I feel like, to set up. So those are the parts where I feel like it'll be really great to have this meeting so I can actually set it up correctly. And yeah.
Could you please tell me, when you say configuration of what exactly? The initial setup of Java and Selenium, is that what you're talking about?
Boom, yeah. The initial setup of Selenium, yeah.
It should be very simple, ideally, I can get it done for you after the class. Should be very simple. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe the videos I was using, it was using like old versions that is not available anymore. So it wasn't
nothing to do with that, nothing to do with that. The process is exactly the same. I can help you to set it up. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this class. I believe I'm in the right place. So
Thank you, Toby. And you can just change your name there from the section. Your wrote me's iPhone. You can just go there and you can say click on more, and I think you can rename yourself, something like that. You can do it.
Okay, perfect. We'll
Yeah,
do.
perfect. Thank you. All right. Next, I have Alan. Hi, Alan. We're just having a quick roundtable discussion, an introduction, and then I'll get started with the.
Sorry, I just started to listen now because my other watch show me a different time. It's 10 minutes less. So
Okay.
I just started. Sorry.
No problem. That's fine. We are just having a roundtable introduction because everybody is in the same place. We are all trying to learn the test automation from beginner to the advanced level, and we are all going to be in the same Slack channel, so that we can interact with each other and we can help each other ideally. Yeah.
Okay.
So which is the reason why we are having a quick roundtable introduction. So if you just can tell me about yourself, and if you have watched the video, what do you feel about it?
Okay, and sorry for last time. Just joined probably on the wrong link. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so if you just can tell me about yourself, Alan, a little bit.
You asked me?
Yeah, I did ask you. Yeah.
Sorry, can you repeat it, please?
I'm asking if you can just give me your introduction, like what you do, what's your profile.
Okay, I'm a software test lead in the company Rimac, and I have experience with already with Selenium and the Java, and I work in the test cases. But also I suppose that lots of knowledge I have to learn in the future. So I think it's a good, very moment to learn something new, definitely.
Perfect. And where are you from, ideally?
From Croatia.
From Croatia. And
yes. Zagreb.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. And the other thing is, have you watched the video that I have released already for the?
Sorry, last week I couldn't find time because we have lots of job to work. I worked every day 10 hours.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have energy to listen to anything else after job. So that's.
Yeah. So Alan, I would really expect that even though you have a little bit of extra knowledge in terms of Selenium and Java, I would really expect that every student over here should at least spend 15 hours a week altogether. Okay, who is starting without any knowledge, they should definitely spend 15 hours a week towards learning this tool, because it's a 4-month-long course and lot to learn. Okay.
Yes, I'm aware of it. Yes.
So please try to make up the time and then get it done.
I will. I will make it extra effort. Sorry, but.
So if you have not seen the application, Alan, you can just see that every session that I'm giving here, there is a video, there is a practice session here, or practice panel here, where you can practice the code. I'm giving some small snippets and you can practice the code. And then ideally, if I take you to the next class, in here maybe, yeah. And then for everywhere, you will find an assessment. Okay, there are 2 assessments ideally. Okay, one is an assessment which is a multiple choice questions based on whatever you just learned in this particular video. So you see every evaluation will have a name and email address. So that is how I can know that where are you standing with the knowledge. That's one thing. And also, if you click on this particular drive icon, this will take you to the assignments page, where you will have all the assignments. This is the assignment. This is the slide deck, the study material, and these are the projects. I'm telling you because you were not there in the last class. That's why I'm telling you that this is how you should use the application towards learning your the skills.
Please, can you share to me this link?
Yeah, this link is you have to register. You have already registered to the application. So once you register to the application and you log in, okay, basically when you log in, you will log into this particular dashboard, right?
Okay. Okay, on your website. Okay.
Yeah, my website. Yeah, and then you go to resume course. That's where you will come in here, and then this is the course content. You click on this. For now, you will just see introduction and week 1, and I will every week I will enable you more and more and more videos and more sessions like this, and that's how you will actually navigate through all the courses, right?
Okay.
And for each and every one, I have designed the practice panel. I've designed the assessments and everything. That will.
Okay, it's very nice. It looks very nice.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Great. Good stuff. So let's go to the next participant, and let me go to Shane. Hi, Shane.
Hey, Sovik. Hi, all. So, yeah, I'm based in Ireland, so I've about 14 years experience. I'm currently working as a QA manager, so I work in a fintech payments company. We're that busy, it's very hard to get to any sort of automation, never mind, doing manual testing. We've got requirements for performance testing by clients. We've built out regression packs, but we have no automation, or we had automation, but it's since that framework needs maintenance, and it's out of date. So we've a requirement, as you said, Safik, we've a requirement for an automation engineer at the moment, but like you said, it's interviewing candidates, and that they have the basic, like working with Selenium framework and Java, but no real framework experience. So I suppose we've major projects on at the moment, from moving from SOAP to REST, and we need front end testing, as I was saying. So I also worked in IBM before, so I worked with different frameworks there, with TestNG, as you mentioned, Selenium as well. So that was more front end testing. And I worked in a previous company, another fintech company, which built their actual own in-house framework using Java, Selenium, and something like Jenkins. They kind of had a front end for kicking off jobs and that. But like you said, it done everything. Like, it ran web services as well, so we weren't just doing front end checks, but there was a large amount of test cases, like about 900. So it took a long time to run. So you've got the likes of there, I see Selenium Grid and Docker Advanced, kind of solutions there for, kind of speeding up, speeding up runs and that. So what I'm undertaking this course is, it looks like I might have to go and build it out myself now, even though, in my spare time, as I mentioned, we do Postman, and we have that automated through Postman, but it's not really useful, I suppose, for if we're looking at changing, to more continuous integration and delivery. So Postman is an ideal solution there. So we're kind of looking for one framework that'll test front end with back end services as well. And as you said, it's very hard to get the right skilled person to do this. So and just on your course, I find that, like, I've done automation courses before, and I've had it up, like, kind of trying to get more regression tests automated, bringing in automation into sprints, so that it's that we have a sprint by sprint basis. At least we're adding coverage there. I've also been involved in replacing frameworks with I don't know if you're familiar with technology called Jab, so it's kind of sits outside of Selenium as well, but we noticed there was a lot of, when we went into it, we noticed there was a support channel there, but we ran into a lot of problems, which say for like if you're selecting drop down menus, for example. When I left, I think they may have abandoned that project because it was just what the technology, I suppose, wasn't mature enough. But like you said, I just trying to, I see the likes of Docker there and Selenium Grid. Be interested in learning that, and probably trying to build out my own, probably built out my own framework for everything, and just
Yeah.
like Alan said, it's hard to get time. That's why I thought I didn't realize there was so much in the the first week. So I've got through 2 of the lectures. I haven't done any of the assignments yet, but
No problem.
I realize now, I'll have to tackle it early on during the week so that we get through it. But as you said, I find the courses or the lectures so far, very informative, and it explains everything well. So
Great.
that's it for me. Sorry for taking up so much time.
No problem, Shane. That's fine. Absolutely. We are all here for the same thing. Good that you're sharing your experience. Thanks a lot, Shane. All right. So next I have Kate. Kate, we are just having a quick roundtable introduction. And then we'll get started with the summary class. So if you just can tell us about yourself, and if you have watched the video, what do you think about it so far?
Okay, hello. Good morning, everybody. My name is Kate. I reside in London. To be honest, I haven't had the time to watch the video, unfortunately. But I'm just a learner. I haven't worked anywhere. I just speak interest in software testing. So I haven't. The only manual testing that I've studied a little bit is Jira.
Okay.
So that's just it. So me listening to the other guy talking about Postman, another application that he has used. I've heard of Postman before, and I've seen how it's used, but I haven't used it in a work environment.
Right.
So, and
okay.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you. No problem at all. That's fine. Thanks a lot. All right. So next we have Emeka. Emeka, thanks for joining. We are just having a quick roundtable introduction about yourself and your profile. And if you have watched the videos, our first 4 videos, what do you feel about it? If you can just share. You can just unmute yourself, or if you want me to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Sorry, Savik. I haven't been able to watch the videos, but I think I'll go through them this today.
Okay.
I've had a busy week, so I haven't been able to go through them, but I'll definitely watch it today.
Yeah. So the thing is that every week I'm releasing 3 videos. So if it piles up, then it'll be hard for you to catch up, right? So please somehow try to make up the time, at least 10 to 15 hours a week, so that you can have ample amount of time to watch the videos, complete the assignments. And there are people who are right now. So for example, Ipshita and few more people, they have already completed these assignments, this manual, the multiple choice questions, right? And as well as the assignments that I'm showing up here in the Google Drive. So they are completing them, and that's where I can track the progress of each and every student, and I can help them, which is why I have spent so much time towards implementing this application. So please try to use it wisely, and somehow figure out how you can bring the time in. Yeah. All right. So lastly, I have Ozge. So if you just can quickly give us your introduction.
Hello, everybody. This is Ozge. I have been working as a QA around 3 years, and I just moved to Dublin and looking for a job in here. Actually, my testing based on the manual, but besides of that, at the regression test, I have been working with the automation testing with IntelliJ IDEA, but I didn't have a knowledge about the coding part, just the basic knowledge, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And have you watched the videos, Ozge? What do you think about the videos?
Yes. I watched. I really like because for initially, and it's really just explained with the basics and just so smoothly. It's so nice.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So I think that ends up the roundtable introduction. It's really needed that we should know each other because we are all in the same batch, and we'll all learn this skill set together. Okay. All right, that's the first thing to do. Okay, I will straight away go to my summary class right now. I'll go to week 1, the Java introduction class. Okay, so in here, I will ideally take you to my class 1, class presentation. Whoever has already watched the video, for them, it is okay, but my motive is ideally to take up any questions that we have. I'll not go through what is software testing and all those stuff. No, I will straight away go with what is Java. Okay, and we will try to understand what is JVM. We'll try to understand what is JRE, JDK, what is how Java platform is independent, and that is what we are going to do ideally. Okay, so what is Java? Java is a normal object-oriented programming language. It is one of the mostly used programming language that we have seen so far. Another one that is catching up right now is JavaScript. But yeah, Java is it's kind of used in almost 3 billion devices around the globe. So the main components of Java that we are concerned about, that we should be concerned about, is Java Virtual Machine, Java Runtime Environment, and Java Development Kit. So we should understand what are these 3 things, and then we should proceed further. All right. So let's understand Java Virtual Machine. What is Java Virtual Machine? Okay. So Java Virtual Machine is a set of binaries that sits on top of your operating system. Okay, it sits on top of your operating system. So for example, I want to run a particular Java file. I will not run that Java file directly under the operating system. I don't have the option to run it directly under the under the operating system, whether it's a Unix operating system or a Windows or Linux or whatever it is. I will not be able to run them directly. I will be running it through Java Virtual Machine. Okay, there's a process behind it that you don't understand when you actually run your test, but this is what happens, right? You have a source file where you write your Java program, and then you use something called as a compiler. What is compiler? Compiler will simply compile your code to be understandable by the machine, that is your system. You write your code in plain and simple English, but then you compile it, okay, to become a byte-coded file. Okay, the bytecode file that I'm talking about, it is just 1 and 0s, ideally, but you will not be able to understand what's there when you compile it. How do you compile it? You compile it with some tool that is supplied by Java, and we call it as Java C. Java C. So let me try and write something here. So we have something called as Java C, which is a tool comes along with Java in order to make this compilation. Once it is compiled, that's where Java Virtual Machine will be able to execute it under that operating system. So you are not directly executing the code in the operating system, but through the Java Virtual Machine. That's the simple understanding of what is JVM. Okay, that's one thing. I have also, if you look at the video, I've spoken more about it, but for now, I think that is quite a summary. Okay, what is JRE? What is JRE? JRE is nothing but Java Runtime Environment. There are 3 different things I just spoke about. One is JVM, one is JRE, and one is JDK. Okay, what is Java Runtime Environment? Java Runtime Environment is just that piece of binaries which will let you execute your application, your Java application. Just for the execution purpose, we need to have a JRE in place, Java Runtime Environment in place, that will help you execute that particular program. Okay, so if you actually download JDK, this is a JDK, right? This is a JDK, right? You will see inside this JDK, you will see there is another folder, which is there are multiple folders, but you can see that there is another folder, which is JRE. So JRE comes packed along with JDK. Java Development Kit is basically the tool that you use towards debugging and implementing your Java program. Okay, Java Development Kit is used by developers to implement the Java program, to debug them, to compile them, and all of it. JRE is basically used for the execution purpose. That's a simple understanding that you must be knowing here. Okay. All right. Then lastly, what we have? Lastly, we have JDK, as I said. Okay. So JDK is basically having all these tools, Java, C, Java, and everything, which are dev tools. They all together come along with a part of JDK. And then we have a JRE section here. And then we have JVM and some libraries to make it a complete package that will basically help you to implement the Java program and as well as execute it. Okay, that's the JDK all about. All right. How is Java platform independent? A very, very important question to understand. How is Java platform independent? What did I say 2 minutes back? I just said that we have operating systems. Let me put it here. We have operating systems. So this is my Windows, and this is my Mac, right? How is Java platform independent? What does that mean, first and foremost? Platform independence means that you can develop a Java program in Windows system, and then you can let your client or anybody to execute the same program in a different operating system. It could be a Unix, it could be a Windows, or it could be a Linux, Mac, whatever it is. They can run it inside their system. That is why it is called platform independent. So you can develop it in one place and execute in the other place. Okay. Now this is possible because when I tell you to go ahead and install Java, whether it's a JRE or JDK, whatever it is, when I tell you to go ahead and install it, you will be installing it depending on your operating system that you have. So basically, what happens here is that you will simply put your Java installation on top of your operating system. So they are separate exe or DMG files. You have to install them depending on whatever operating system you're using, as simple as that. And when you have that kind of a structure in place, then whenever you are creating a program in Windows machine, you don't really have to bother about how it is getting executed in Mac, because the installer or the Java setup that you have done for Mac will take care of what? Compiling it and executing it under a different operating system. That is the reason why Java is platform independent language. Am I making sense with that? Do you have any questions so far?
What's the difference between, I'm a bit confused about JDK and JRE.
Okay, so as I said, if you look at my videos, I have explained it even better. But for now, you can understand that JDK is a tool set, okay, that you install when you are trying to implement a Java program. As simple as that. So JDK when you're installing JDK, it comes with so many different libraries and different tools. So for example, Java C is a tool that you require in terms of compiling the Java code. Okay,
Yeah.
then you have a normal Java tool as well, and then you have a JVM as well. You have certain libraries. You have JRE. Everything packed together, that becomes a JDK. Okay, which is something that you need in order to implement, in order to debug a Java program, compile, debug, implement a Java program. Okay, but when you
Okay,
really
sorry.
want to work on, yeah, go on.
Mhm.
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
No, sorry. I think I'm mistaken. It was the JVM and the JRE. Sorry that I didn't really know what the
Okay, no
difference
problem,
between
no
them.
problem, no problem.
Thanks.
So JVM is the whole system that is helping you to compile the source code to a byte code, or in order to execute the program. JVM will do that for you. You will basically execute the program inside a Java virtual machine that comes as a package under both JRE and JDK. So that will do your that will help you, that will create a virtual environment where you are able to execute your program. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right?
but JRE also allows you to execute as well, right?
No. So JRE is the tool that is just the execution. So JVM is creating the environment for execution. Okay, but JRE is helping you towards compiling and executing the
Okay,
program. So
got it.
this guy is the environment inside which the
Mm-hmm.
execution will happen, and this guy is just a library that will make it happen.
Okay, right.
Right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
good. So that is the difference between JRE, JVM, and JDK. Okay, all right. So it is highly possible to create a Java file just from your text file, and then you can easily run a Java program. I have explained this very well in my video where I have asked you to create a simple Java file with .java extension, and then I have simply triggered the Java program. I've compiled that particular file to a class file using Java C program. Okay, so if I actually show it to you in my code, let me try and show it to you in my code. What I will do is I will quickly create a new folder here. Okay, inside this, let me try and create something. I will say new file, and here I will just say public class. Okay, I'll give some class name, say my test, and once I do that, it is my test. Okay, once I do that, all I want to do is I will say public static void main, and this will have some arguments. So string args, and here I will just say simple thing, which is system dot out dot println, and inside this I will just say this is my first program. Okay, always keep in mind that you end up a Java program or a statement with a semicolon like this. Okay, and once that is done, then I will try to save this file. How do I save this file? I'll say save as. Okay, I'll save this under my desktop and just create a new folder in here, and I will name this file as the same name of the class name. The class name is my test, so I will keep the same name for the file name as well. That's the rule that you need to follow. So my test.java. right? So I'm simply creating a simple Java file, which is no, I don't want it. Okay, my test.java is created as a part of my that particular folder. That's fine, good enough. So you see, this folder is having this particular file, perfectly fine. Now what I'll do, I'll go ahead and open up my terminal. You will be opening up your you will be opening up your own command prompt from your system, whether it's a Mac or whatever. And then what do? I'll just go to my location. Let me see, where am I? I am in, okay, let me just go back. CD users desktop, no, users desktop and untitled folder. Untitled. You know what? It will be a problem. Let me quickly rename this guy. And say my test. And I'll just say my test here. Okay, I'm in here. Perfect. So I'm in this particular location where I have this file. If I just say ls means just to know what is there inside that particular folder. I say ls. It's a Mac, so it's a different different command. For Windows, you will write dir directory, dir, and that will give you the information. So I have this particular file here, perfectly fine, but I'm not able to run this file. Okay. So first and foremost, I have already explained this very well, how to set up the Java. I can actually do a Java setup for someone who has not done it in the class today itself, so that everybody can look into the video and mimic the same process. And first and foremost, I will know what kind of Java version do I have. So I'll just say Java -" version, and then this gives me that I have 1.8 in my system. That's perfectly fine. The next thing that I want to do is I want to perform a Java compiling, right? And I will use Java C, and I will just say my test.java. And as soon as I do that, it takes some time, and then it doesn't return back anything. Okay. However, if I just do a ls again, then I see there is a new file, which is .class file. I told you when I use a Java C command, which is a compilation command, I will be simply converting the .java file to a machine readable file. And I can prove that to you by opening this class file in Sublime Text. And Sublime Text is nothing but a simple text editor. You can use any text editor you want. And you see, this is what Java sees. Do you understand? This is what a binary code, it got converted to a binary code, which is now understandable by machine, but you don't understand it, right? So once that is done, so we don't execute or we don't run the .java file. No, we run, when we run a program, we run the .class file. We don't run the .java file. .java file is just for our reference to understand the program, to write the program, and then we convert that to a .class file, and then we execute it. How do we execute it? Very simple command. It's a Java, and I'll just say my test. Just say my test. My test. Enter, and this is my first program. Got printed out right there because that was the program, right? The program was to print this text, and that's how it works. Okay. This is how we are handling one single file at a time. And I'm showing you that we don't need to really work on any kind of an editor, but that will not be sustainable for you because we are not going to work with one file. We are going to work with hundreds and thousands of files in a full-grown project. Okay, and it is not possible for us to maintain such kind of a structure through, just a file or a couple of folders. That's the reason why we will use an editor, some kind of an editor. It could be an IntelliJ, it could be Eclipse or whatever it is. So I generally start my course with Eclipse and then I switch on to IntelliJ. Okay, I prefer IntelliJ personally, but a lot of people, a lot of companies, they still use Eclipse. Okay, ideally anybody can use anything. It's an editor at the end of the day. It will do the same job, but IntelliJ basically gives you some other flexibilities, like they have a terminal inside that, and then they have the plugin installation in IntelliJ is much easier. Okay, those kind of things. And then the Intellisense. What is Intellisense? I will tell you later on. The Intellisense of IntelliJ is much more stronger than Eclipse. I will tell you. Okay. Anyways, so that's the situation with Java compilation, execution, and how to basically convert that to a .class file. Do you have any questions for me so far? Now this command, this particular file that I just created, I can give it to you. I have implemented this in Mac. I can give it to you in Windows and it will run it exactly the way I'm running here. Okay, the same process. Do you have any questions for me so far? Yes, no? If you're not able to come to the audio, just say in the chat. But please give me a response, because otherwise I'm confused whether you have understood or not. Kate, are you understanding this? Emeka, are you understanding this?
Yes, I'm following. I will go through it again to follow the process.
Mommy,
okay.
Can you hear me?
All right, good stuff. All right. Guys, I would really expect something from you, that is when you are coming in the class, I expect that you, for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, if there's a possibility, you can isolate yourself. I really want you to be fully focused in the training so that you learn it all, right? So please make sure that happens from the next class, maybe. Okay. So that's with that. Let's move on to the next situation, and that is my. Okay. So I just covered everything. Here, Java installation and configuration. I will right now not go with it, because I'll show you this in one of your system, which will be then recorded for us, and then everybody else can mimic that. Okay, somebody who didn't do it, they can do it. That's the first class, the class number 1. And we will simply go to the class number 2 now, which is right here. Okay, perfect. So as a part of the class number 2, what do we have? All right, we are talking about now in terms of creating a class with a main method. So far, we have seen about creating a class with a main method in a normal text file. We will exactly mimic the same process, but we will do it in Eclipse code editor. Okay, we want to do it in code editor. Okay, if you actually see it in my application, the application that I have implemented for you guys, I have actually, so this is a coding panel I have given you. So in this coding panel, there is a main method. Okay, it's a main method. It's exactly the same format that I have implemented. In the main method, there are some methods, like main is a method, and if you simply call this function by starting the play button, what will happen is you will be able to call this main method, and there's a main method below somewhere here, and this guy will be executed, right? If I want to run it right now, you see I ran it right now, and I get the value as this is main2. Okay, you see, this is main2, and it came to me. There are 2 different commands that got executed. This is main method with proper signature, that is from here. I got it from here, and the second guy got called was this one, and I got the value over here for it. Okay. Similarly, I have, if I comment this out, how do I comment it? Commenting meaning the code will not even execute. The code will be skipped. So if I just say double slash, so I comment it. Now it will not run anymore. If I uncomment the duplicate, let me do it again. I uncomment the duplicate with the semicolon here. If I do that, then what will happen is the duplicate will be called. There is a method called duplicate. What is duplicate? We will try to understand this. What is duplicate? And we will see what exactly happens. So I say duplicate here, and then we'll see if it runs or not. So let's run it. So I just get an issue right there that the duplicate method is not called. We have given this purposefully for you to understand that why this method, this is called a method. You see this, the small snippet that I'm talking about, it's a method. Okay. This method is not executing. Why it is not executing? Why it is not executing is that the format of this method is not same as the way I'm calling it. You see, this duplicate method is having, or is expecting, is created with an array of strings. It's created with an array of strings, and which is something that I am not passing here. You see, this is empty. It is an empty. So obviously, it will not run. This duplicate method is expecting some kind of an array. If I create an array, how do I create an array? You will learn later on, but just to make you guys understand. So ARR, and I'll just create a simple array here with some random text. So I'll say ABC, DEF, and then this array I will pass on to duplicate. Right? If I do that, that's where this guy will run. So if I run it now, if you open up my execution panel, okay, I didn't give that semicolon. Okay, let's run this again. And string of arrays, location 1, duplicate. What am I doing wrong here? I'm just passing the string of array.
Okay. I think you are calling the wrong name.
Oh yeah, I am calling the wrong name, exactly. Totally right. Right? Let's run this now. And it got called. That's the reason why you see that there is the printout that came from here. Okay. The small codes are given to you so that you can practice things. If you want to, if you think that this panel is small, I know it's small, open it up in your bigger screen and then practice. And practice. Only then you will be able to you'll be able to, you'll be familiarizing with the code. Whoever is starting at the very beginning, it's really going to have a good impact on you. Okay. So that was with class 1 that I wanted to share. And in the class 2, I'm talking about opening up the Eclipse editor. Okay. So how do I open the Eclipse editor? This is my Eclipse. And this is already an existing Eclipse workspace. So what I'll do is I'll actually close this, or I will say Eclipse switch workspace. I'll create a new workspace for us. So this is our July 2020. I'll create a new workspace for us. What is workspace, guys? Let me explain that to you. So now this is my May batch workspace. These are the programs that we have discussed there. And there are so many projects that you can see that we are constantly adding in my previous batch, right? Similarly, I'm going to create a new workspace inside which we can create n number of projects. Okay, that is the workspace. So I'll just say launch. So when you open the Eclipse for the first time, it will ask you to create a workspace inside which you will keep your projects. So that's what I did right now. Just give me one quick second. So when you open the Eclipse for the first time, you get this welcome screen. You can just cross it out. And that's a layout that you will find. It is a code editor where we will write our code, okay? So I'll take out all the unwanted things that we don't really need. So I'll just take out these panels. I don't need them. I don't need them. I don't need them. So everything is gone. On the left-hand side, it's called a package explorer, inside which we will create our first project, okay? So creating a first project is very simple. I say create a Java project. All right. As soon as I create a Java project, it will ask me to give a project name. So I'll just say summary week one. Week one. That's my project name, right? And it also talks about something. What does it talk about? It talks about that. How do you run the programs inside this particular project? How do you run them? So you're setting up. You're saying that I want to run it against the 1.8 JRE that is installed in my system. I have a JDK, but the JRE inside it is also 1.8. So I want to basically run my code against 1.8 JRE. Okay, so I just said that there, and then I say finish. And that's my summary project created. If you open this up, you just see that there are a few stuff that you will see. So because we have added JRE, the JRE comes with so many different jar files. Okay, what is jar files, guys? Jar files is nothing but, let me try and make you guys understand with a quick diagram. So I'm talking about jar file, right? Okay. So what is a jar file? Jar files are nothing but Java archive files. Okay, what is Java archive files? It means this jar file is nothing but it will be a compressed or zipped version of all the classes that are used under a project. So in very simple language, suppose I have created my test.java and that got compiled to my test.class. Okay, you have seen that compilation that's happening, and then you have another one which is here, another one which is here, another one which is here. So I have 4 different my test class files, which are 4 different my test Java files, which got compiled into .class files. So all of them will be compressed together to become one Java archive file. Look at this icon. The icon looks like a jar. Why? If I open this up, if I expand it, let me expand any one of them. You see, all of these guys are having something called as a package. Okay, package is nothing but a normal folder. And if I open this up, it has .class files. So hundreds and thousands of class files together, compressed together, becomes one jar file, like so. So we have, as we added just JRE library, so you can see there are 100,000 files or jar files along with all the class files got added to this particular project. Why? Because this files or these libraries in normal terms, the jargon that we use, these are called libraries. Okay, all these jar files are called libraries. Okay, so these libraries will help us to execute the Java program. That's all. Okay, perfect. So now what I'll do is we have a folder called SRC folder. If I open this up, new, this folder right now is empty. Okay, don't bother about it. Now, what I'll do is I'll create a package inside this. Package is a subfolder. Let me clear my drawings. And I'll just give a name. I say test package, test pack, and say finish. I'm getting some question. Let me answer it. For some reason, if I select Java SE as setting for JRE, it can find one of libraries. I ended up referencing. Yeah, maybe the JRE is not added as a part of SE. I'm not sure why that's happening though. But did it solve your problem instead of, by using JRE? Okay, perfect, cool, thanks. So I just created a package called test pack. Okay, what I'll do here is I'll say new Java class. I'll create a normal class. You see the same thing that I was doing in my text file. I'll try to do the same thing over here, and I'll say my test. Sorry, my bad. I'll say my test. Okay, and in this particular section now, you have option to select this checkbox. What does it say? It says, which method stubs would you like to create? It means that this my test package or my test class will be created with a main method. What is main method? Main method is the triggering point or the kickoff point from where your execution will be started. From where your execution will be started. Without a main method, you will not be able to start the program. Okay, so let us try and create a main method, and I can see very well that I just created a, let me actually increase my font size, please. Yeah. Okay, so I just created a test package. Inside that, I've created a class called my test. So test package, that's the reason why you have this mentioned over here called package. The package is a test package. Inside that, I have a my test. That's the exact structure that you see here as well. Test pack and my test, right? So what is the main method? Main method is nothing but a kickoff point. So what do I mean by that? I mean, every program or every class should have a main method, okay? The main method will be then used to channelize your programs. This is the place from where your execution gets started. That's fine. And then it branches out to different methods that you are trying to execute. Okay. And from there, so for example, there could be 10 different methods here. Method 1. I'll try to keep it very simple for you guys at the initial level. We can also run the program without main method. You will see it later on. For now, that's what you should learn. Method 3 and method 4. Right? We have all different methods that can be triggered from main method. And again, it can be branching out to multiple other methods as well. Okay, that's how your program in an application ideally works, correct? But it has to get started definitely from a main method. That's what you should understand. Okay, perfect. I'll clear my drawings, and this is my kickoff point. Perfectly fine. Lastly, what I'll do is I'll try and add some text over here. What text? I'll just do a simple. So I was talking about why do I use a code editor? The biggest feature that any code editor will help you out is Intellisense. What is it? It's Intellisense. So let me just try and write it down. It says Intellisense. Not gens. Intellisense. What is Intellisense? Intellisense is nothing but a feature that is there in your Eclipse or any kind of editor for that matter. And how will it help? For example, I want to write the command system.out.println. I don't really want to spend my time to write that big command. I can just say syso, and I can just hit control and space. Sorry, control space. And you can see that it filled up for you, right? So these are the shortcuts that you will get. What is Intellisense again? That shortcut that you saw, that's there. Again, let's see. I have the system as a command, but now if I say dot, it gives me suggestions. It is also a part of Intellisense, this suggestion. So it's not possible as a developer to remember every damn methods that we will ever use. Okay, it's not possible to remember. Even I don't know that, you don't know that. It's not possible, right? So that's the reason we have Intellisense in place, which will help us to kind of understand what's going on with that. So when you say dot, you see that, okay, this particular class called system will have all these methods to use. And then probably you will dig a little deeper, and then you will say, okay, what is console? What is get environment? What is get properties? And when you hover or when you click on any one of them, you get a small introduction over here about that particular guy. That's how you get to know what you are trying to use and if that will fit in to your requirement or not, right? This is the feature that Intellisense offers, right? Perfect. So what I'll do is I'll just say system.out.println, then I'll just say test me, and then I just trigger my execution. Okay. Now you see, when I just said save, okay, I will do one thing. I will quickly go inside this particular project by going to show in Project Explorer. If I open this in Project Explorer, my bad, not Project Explorer, sorry. Show in System Explorer. If I show it in System Explorer, that means exactly where this project is located. If I show you that, you see that as soon as I created that particular file, which is my test class, you see that this is a project, summary one. It's normal project, normal folder, nothing fancy here. There's this src folder here, inside which there's a folder called test pack. It's nothing but a package, Java package. If I go inside that, you will find the .java file. And that is the file that we have implemented. But on the same time, if you see that there is a binary folder got created automatically, I didn't do anything for it. And if I actually follow the trail, so binary folder will take you to the test pack, and then test pack will take you to the my test.class file. Why? Because I told you that javac command will help me to convert the .java file to a .class file. And I am, as a user of in Eclipse IDE, I'm not spending time to compile the code for you. Okay, so this will be automatically compiled and added as a part of the binary folder by what? By Eclipse itself. They will be triggering the javac compiler, compile it, and put it there in the right place with .class file. Everybody understand this? I have some questions coming in. Let me check up. Do you have to specify the method as a class at the top before you can use them beneath? Do you have to specify the method as a class? No, the method is this method. It is the class which is holding that method. So this is a method. Your execution is getting triggered from here, but this class, this method will be residing inside a class, and the class is named as my test. There are two different things. There is a method and there is a class.
Okay. Sorry, with the initial, this is my first test that you gave at the start. There was no public class or package.
No, it was not package. It was not package, but there was a class. I will show you that program.
Okay, thanks.
See?
Okay.
I didn't use the package because there was no package there, but there was a class. Without this, you will not be able to run it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the main holder of all the methods for this particular class, and inside that you keep on adding more and more methods.
Okay, that was my question. Thanks.
Perfect, no problem. Thanks. Good. Any questions so far from anybody in terms of whatever I've just shown? Emeka, I would like to know, Emeka and Kate, I would like to know if whatever I'm showing, is it making sense? Okay. Emeka, what do you think? Are you able to understand it? Okay, good. All right. So please do stop me whenever if you feel that it's getting complex for you, just stop me. And thanks, Alan. So just stop me whenever you have any problem. So you can't run a method without putting it in a class. No, Toby, you cannot. You need to put it inside a class. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay. So now what we will do, we will go back to our no, here, summary class 1. Okay. Class 2. Okay. So we just spoke about our normal main method there. Perfectly fine. Let's create a sample program and to add numbers. Okay. So here I'm just talking about the main method. What is a main method? Okay. That is what you should understand. So main method, or any method for that matter, is created with some kind of a signature or some kind of a template. Okay. So you need to have few keywords added to a method. So first and foremost, you need to know about the name of the method. So right now I'm talking about the main method. So I'll talk about all these keywords that I am adding. Okay. So what is the main method? Here I have the name called main. As I said, the trigger of the execution happens from main. That's one thing. Second thing is parameters. This guy, we call it as a parameter. Why parameter? I will talk about that in a minute. Or arguments. Parameters or arguments. Okay, that's one thing. This is void. Void means return type. This method, this main method, is not returning any value. This main method will never return any value. Main method is ideally there in order to call other methods, okay, or to perform some action within the main method, but it will never return any value. Okay, what is returning meaning? Probably you will understand this better when I cover more on methods. There's a keyword that we use called static. Let's not go about it. Public is an access specifier. It means that this method can be called from anywhere in the project. Okay, probably these keywords are not making too much sense to you because you're seeing this for the first time. But let's get started, or let's break it down with arguments first, and then we'll talk about the scope, this brackets that I'm talking about, the scope. All right. So what is arguments? Arguments is a feature that is added as a part, as a method. I mean, as a tool in the method, in any method, in order to send some information into the method from outside. I want to send some information into the method from outside. Okay, I will try to explain this to you. Let's try and see. Let's do this in our this particular place. It's better for us to go through it. So it is accepting, a main method is accepting a string of array as arguments. What is string of array, guys? String of array is nothing but something like this. Let me try and put this here. So it's something like this. It's a string, and you give a square brackets, and you give say names. Okay, and then what happens is you give a brace, a flower brace, open and close, and then you add some information over here. Okay. You can add multiple information over here. So you can basically say some names, Souvik, Toby, Emeka, correct? You can add some names there, right? So this guy is an array of strings, which is holding multiple values together inside the same variable. That is basically a string of arrays. Perfect. So if you see my argument in the main method, it is exactly looking like same. It's a string of arguments, string of array, and the name of this particular variable is called args or arguments. The motive is that I want to send some information inside this main method. How can I do that? I can simply do that by doing something. I'll say sysout. Sorry, I'll just copy this piece. And all I will say here is that args that I have here. So when you learn about array, you will understand that if I want to access the value Souvik, I will say something like this. I will say names, and in square bracket, I'll say 0. I'll say 0 because 0 is my index for the name that I just added there, right? So Souvik is the first element in this array, and that is having an index called 0, 1, and 2. Perfect. So if I say names of 0, then I will be getting the value as Souvik, right? Make sense? If I say names of 0, then I get the value as Souvik. Simple as that. I'll clear out my drawings, and that's the same thing that I want to do. I want to just get the value out of args, the arguments. So I'll say args of square bracket. I'll say 0. I'll say another 2 of them. I'll just copy this line. I'll paste it twice. I'll say 0, 1, and 2. Perfect. I did that there. I'll save this file. Desktop untitled. Oh, okay. Because my bad. Wait a minute. Let me copy this guy. Let me copy this guy because I didn't change the name of that folder, so it's not able to recognize it. So we're talking about this file. I'll open it here. That's the right file. Paste it. That's that. Okay, I'll save this file. No problem at all. Now what we have to do, we have to do a Java compile, because after you add something, this is not Eclipse that it'll do the job for you. The compilation will be done automatically. So you have to work for it. What do? You just go ahead and you just run the command again, which is Java compile, Java C mytest.java. I hit the enter and it got compiled. Perfectly fine. Now you see I want to pass on some information inside the main method. How can I do that? I can simply say Java, and then I will pass some information. So I'll say Souvik. I'll give a space. I'll say Toby. I'll give a space. I'll say Ibrahim. And I'll say enter. And you see the result. This is my first program, Souvik, Toby, and Ibrahim. Now, the good thing to understand that I am getting all these values here because I gave 3 different names, and my program is also expecting 3 different names. In line number 7, 8, and 9, you can see I'm saying 0, 1, and 2. So which means when the program starts and it comes to line number 7, it is expecting that there must be some index 0 available for args, and that's why it will be able to print the value. Had it been a case where I am not passing all the values, or if I'm passing more values, let's try to see what happens. I'll not pass Ibrahim here. There's Savik and Toby. I hit enter, and I immediately get some exception. Look at the exception. It says Savik and Toby got printed. This is my first program. That's fine. Savik and Toby got printed, and then for the third guy, it gives me an exception called array index out of bound exception. Why am I getting this? I'm getting this because in my third argument, sorry, not the third argument. I mean, I was supposed to give the third name, because you see in line number 9, it is expecting that args of 2, right? It is expecting an index 2, but it just got the 0th and the first index. So it printed them all, that's fine. But when it tried to access this, there was nothing of that sort. So it throws me with an exception saying array index out of bound exception. You're trying to access an array index which doesn't even exist. That is where you got the error message or the exception. Everybody's understanding it? The whole situation? Yes, no? Give me a text, please. Okay. Perfect. Good stuff. Now what do? I simply let me go back to my code here. Okay, so this is arguments. Then we have the name, method name. Let's talk about these 3 guys later on when we talk about actual Java methods. Next, we will talk about this guy, which is the scope. What is scope? Scope means whatever is between these 2 brackets is the scope of the method. It's just not about method, but it's also about the class. Look at the class. This is my class, and the class is having a flower brace open and close. So whatever is within this class is basically a main method. A main method is a component of my test class, and you can say that by wrapping them up within this flower bracket. So this whole guy is the scope of my test class. Simple. Similarly, main method is also having its own scope, right? So whatever you see here between here and here is the scope of the main method. Okay, that's where the scope comes in place. All right, let's move on quickly. Java packages and sub packages. What is it? Java packages, as I said, it's nothing but a folder. Why do I need packages? The packages are needed because we want to group our classes together under one single package. What's the difference between the types of brackets? Could you please tell me which type of brackets you're referring to? I have spoken about 2 of them so far. One is the scope ones. Another one is the square brackets. Can you tell me which one you're trying to talk about? Curly and square? Yeah. So as I said, curly is nothing but the scope. Curly is nothing but the scope. And the square brackets that we are using, it's ideally used only for arrays. And these arrays are used basically to hold the index information. If you see my last program, you see args. Look at this, args 0. I'm putting that inside the square brackets. That is my index. I'm trying to get the index information out of that particular array. So basically, arrays are used with square brackets. Is that clear, Kate? Not this one. Why is the result in command prompt? Why is the result in command prompt? What do you mean by that? The command prompt, I executed the test from the command prompt, right? That's why I have the result over here. I mean, I executed the main method from here, right? The result of code executed. Yeah, I didn't still get it. Can you tell me what you're talking about?
Yeah, sorry, I just meant with the Emeka's name, the exception they gave you in thread. Why that seems like a command prompt page, right?
Because I executed that program, this particular program, inside the command prompt, from the command prompt. So what did I write? I have executed the command like this. I said Java, mytest, Sovic, Toby. There are two names I'm passing, and I'm executing the class .class method .class file using the command Java mytest, and I'm executing it through the command prompt. So that is the reason you get the result or exception, whatever it is, you will get it from the command prompt. I mean, into the command prompt.
Okay. Can we not get a result or exception in the Selenium, in Eclipse, sorry?
Yeah. So Eclipse is a different entity, and the one that I have used here, this is not a code editor. This tool that you see here called Sublime Text, it is just like a notepad in Windows. Okay, it's just to create some text files, right? So I have just used this particular file to show this program. I can show the same program to you in Eclipse as well, and there as well you will get the exception, and you will see it inside something called as console. We will do that in a while. Okay. Is that clear, Toby?
Sorry, I was trying to type it out. Yeah, I thought we were looking at Eclipse. Sorry, that was my fault.
No.
Yeah.
We're not looking at that. We're looking at the Sublime Text. Okay. Good. Perfect. So now what? Now we will go back to somewhere. Java packages and sub-packages. What is it? Packages are nothing but folders, as I have said earlier as well. It will help you to group your classes together inside a folder. It just works like a folder, nothing more than that. So for example, if I want to create a package inside test pack, so all I will do is I'll just say new package, and I'll give the name called test pack. You know what? I'll not do it here, but I'll do it here inside the source. New package. I'll say test pack. Just give me a second. And I'm trying to create a package inside another package. And I can do that using a dot operator. And I'll give the new package name. So test pack pack1. Can I do that? I can. And I say finish. And if I do that, you see that another guy got created called testpack.pack1. But ideally, if I really go into the System Explorer of this particular summary project, you will see that inside SRC folder, testpack, you have pack1. You have two things, right? You have this test pack, which is my first package name here. First package name here. And inside the test pack, you have another folder that I created called pack1, which is inside test pack, right? So when I said dot, it's nothing but you're just going one level down and creating another folder. That's all, okay? And inside that, I can have another class as well. So I can say my new class. I can say my test2.java. My test2, that's it. My test2 with the main method, and I'll just say finish. And that got created inside. Look at this package information now. It says testpack.pack1. Inside this, I have my test2. Is that making sense? right? So that's how you are going to work out with your packages, all right? Why packages are required? Because you can then create multiple different class files together inside the pack one, okay? All right, so that's that. Variables and constants. What is variables and what is constants? As the name suggests, it's a variable. When I say it's a variable, it means that, yeah, go on, sorry.
Can I just ask, can you have subclasses and a main class? Can you have multiple classes under a class? And also, can you have packages as well under package, or a package has to be one with classes?
So your package is obviously true. You can create a package inside another package that I just did right now. Okay.
Okay.
You can have a subclass. This is a class. Okay. And you can have another class, something like this. Class, subclass, sub my test. And you can have that ideally, but from our usual daily execution purpose, we will really not use that. You know, we don't want to really create a subclass of a main class and then use it. I mean, in an enterprise level project, we will not do such kind of a structure. We create everything separate. That's the best practice that we follow. Make sense?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Sorry, can I give an example to see if it makes sense? So for example, if we're testing like Facebook, for example, maybe in one package we put login of a user, and then would we say that we now create another package for sending messages, or would you say you'd rather create it in a class? How would you know when you should create a new when you should create package as opposed to just a subclass?
Okay, so
does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So in terms of testing an application, I would probably do something like this. I will say that I'll create some packages, different packages for different requirements. So for example, I will say, maybe this is a banking application, and I want to say, I want to test the, I don't know, transfer or add user or add beneficiary. Add beneficiary. Okay, add beneficiary is the guy whom you want to pay the money, right? This is one package, all right? Then you have another one called transfer funds. Transfer funds. Then you have, say, transfer funds, then withdraw funds. Then finally you have, say, I don't know, maybe close account.
Long, right.
Whatever, right? These are 4 different packages. These packages are the packages which will contain all the classes that will be testing the add beneficiary feature of the application. I mean, it can be done. I mean, ideally, it should not be done under all in one class. Maybe you need 4 different classes here. I don't know. Maybe you need 4 different classes here. Test 1, test T1, T2, so far, right? T2 so far, right? And then over here as well, you want to have three classes. Accordingly, you will decide what makes sense. So you are going to use package to make your groups. So this part is the group number 1 for your add beneficiary, and the second one is for transfer funds. It's just for your grouping purpose, you know. You understand me?
Yep. Yep.
From testing perspective, that's what we will do ideally. But when we start learning about framework implementation, we know more about like the whole bigger picture. Okay. Let me clear this out. I have some questions. So why is the okay now? So you can have subclasses in the main class, likewise packages. Yes, as I said that. It's okay, Pavan. Thanks. 1 minute. All right. So that is that. Now, what is variables and what is constants? Variables, as the name suggests, it's just going to store the information for you, which can be then modified. So you are giving something called as data type over here called int. You're saying what type of information you want to store. Okay, I really want to rush a little fast because we have around 40 minutes now, so that I can cover other classes as well. So I would really encourage you to look at the videos. It's pretty well described there. What is int? This guy called data type. It means that when I'm trying to store a number, I want to use a data type called int for storing a number inside a variable named number. You understand me? So when you are saying that I am trying to store the value 10, you will obviously use data type int and you give the variable name called number or whatever you feel like, and then you use it. And then this variable will be storing that value, which you can then use later on in your tests. That's your main motive for variables. What is constant? Constants, on the other hand, will never change. At the beginning of your program execution, you will declare the value of this particular constant, and you will not be able to change this value at runtime. What do I mean by that? Let me try and show you. So in programming world, many times we talk about something called as runtime and compile time. Runtime and compile time. What is runtime? Let's try and understand this. So we have a main method. I'm not writing everything. I'm just trying to make it simple. So I have a main method here, right? I have a main method here. That's totally okay. Inside this main method, I have a variable. I can declare a variable inside the main method or outside the main method as well. I will talk about that later on. For now, let's consider that I'm putting it inside the main method. And then I'm giving a variable name called int name equals, int num equals 20. What do I mean by this? I mean that this particular value 20 will be assigned to a variable called num. That's simple. Now, the point is that I'm running some code here. I'm doing some sysouts and few more stuff, whatever, okay? And after this, I can wish to say num equals 40. And I'm allowed to do that. So the value of num is now changed to the value of 40. So I've upgraded my value. It is possible because num is a variable. It can vary. Okay. In the same situation, I cannot do the same thing with a constant. If I have a constant, how do I declare a constant? I can declare a constant using a keyword called final int num 40. And that's it. You will not be allowed to then upgrade or downgrade the value from a final from a constant. That's what constant means, right? So that is variable and constants. Let me clear it out. Please stop me if you have any questions in your mind.
Sorry, just a quick one.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
they're both elements. Can constant be an element taken from a web page?
Yeah.
Can that become a constant without using final?
From a web page? No, it cannot be. Sorry, my bad. No, it cannot be, because constant is not something that can be executed in the runtime. So in a web page, when I'm talking about a web page in terms of Selenium, you open the web page through an automation and you grab that data from the application, from the web page, right? And you want to put that, or you want to add that into some kind of a variable, because that value will be then added to that variable, and then you can use it n number of times, or you can even change that. But you cannot ideally modify your constants. Constants are something that is created once when you're implementing the code, and you don't change it during runtime. You understand me?
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. That's interesting that elements in a web page can be changed. I didn't know that. So, all right, that's interesting.
No. What I mean by that is, I think you were talking in terms of grabbing some information from an web application. Are you saying that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we generally do is, from Selenium perspective, when we can launch the application, we can grab a text, for example, a username. We can grab a text, okay, and then we can use that username for other methods in the test case, right? And when I'm grabbing that username from the web page, I will store it inside a variable. I cannot store it inside a constant, because constant cannot be changed in the runtime. When you're opening a web page, you are actually running the test. That's a runtime situation or runtime environment. You cannot grab the text out of an application and put it inside a constant when you're running it already. Before executing, if you're putting some value inside the constant, you can still be using that, and that value will never be changing until your execution is stopped. If that makes sense.
Got it. Okay. And just final question: the only way to define a constant is through the final that script that you wrote. Yeah, that's the only way to make a constant.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. In terms of Java, okay. Yes. Data types, there are different type of data types we have. What are data types? As I said here, when you're creating a variable or a constant, you have to say what type of data you're trying to store in. You have to say that, right? So that's why you have to say whether it is of int, string, or whatever, right? You have to say that. So the situation is that you have to know different type of data types that are available. Okay, so you see the data types are idly categorized in two different sections. One is called primitive, another one is called non-primitive. I would really expect you to go through the video, because this portion is a little bit longer to understand. I've spoken about primitives and non-primitive. What are those? So ask me a question, okay? Guys, what I will do right now, because as we are talking, I will do something right now so that it's easier and I don't forget that. Just 1 minute. I will actually show you something. I'll go to my drive classes. I'll create a new folder for us. July 2020. And inside that, I'm going to do something. I'm going to create. So look at how other batches are doing. They basically have something called as these folders. You are already getting the access to from the application. So when you click on this particular Google Drive, you basically open up any one of those folders. That's how I've implemented it. But ideally, what you can do is in my July batch, sorry, in May batch, you see there is something called assignments folder, and you see everybody has uploaded their projects. Do you see that? They're uploading their projects, whatever the projects I'm giving to you, the assignments that I'm giving to you. So these are the assignments that is there inside class 2 folder and so on and so forth. I want you to upload them inside this so that I can check it, okay? So what I will do right now is I will create assignments folder for you guys. My drive, July batch, new folder, assignments. Okay, I just create this assignment. Actually, okay, and inside that, please, I will give the access to it. I'll send you the link for it. Create a folder on your name, like the other students are doing it. Create the folder on your name and then start submitting the assignments. Okay, that's how you do that. So this is what I wanted you to do. The other thing that I was just trying to say it here is no, that's it. So primitive and non-primitive, you can look for those information in the respective video. There is some assignments that are given to you, so try to complete that. I think that will be pretty much for you to answer me. Okay, sorry, there is one more thing I wanted to do, my bad. Along with the assignments, let me create a Google Sheet. Okay, and I will just do a simple structure here. I'll just say name, I'll just say class, I'll just say topic, and I'll just say questions. Okay, so I am just going to create this guy for you so that you guys can, and I will give an access to you as well. So this is going to be our folder. I'll just put it under free sessions. And in this particular folder, you are then allowed to come in, add your name, add whatever class you're referring to, add the topic that you're referring to, and then give me a question. Okay, so once you are adding these questions, I will basically discuss this question in the summary class as well. Okay, so whenever you have any doubts that you have in your mind when you are going through the videos, start filling up this file, and it'll be great for us. So let me just share this. No, let's not share it now. I'll share this later on. Rename free questions. Just a question. Questions, okay. And that's pretty much about it. Please try to fill this up. It's for your betterment to keep a track of all that you're learning. Okay. Now we're talking about data types. Okay, the primitive and non-primitive. I will really not go on that because it's too much to cover there. Okay, ideally that's the end of. Okay, that's the primitives. Okay, then we have operators. What are operators? Operators are basically different type of. We have different type of operators. Arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, pre and postfix operators, assignment operators, and ternary operators. These are the operators that we will use in order to make our program. So for example, if I want to really perform any kind of an addition, I will just go ahead and use a plus operator to add two numbers. The same plus operator can be also used as a concatenation operator. What do you mean by that? I mean that if I say string name equals Sovic, and string surname equals Datta. If I say that, then ideally, if I use a plus operator, I can use plus operator in two ways: to add two numbers and also to add two strings, okay? Or a number with a string. So I can just say sysout. Sysout is for the printout, you know that. Sysout, and I'll say name plus surname. If I say that, then ideally the output will be something like this. Sovic Datta. Okay, one word without a space. If I want to add a space in between, I can add a plus again. And within two pluses, I can give a quote and give a space. That's where this will be having the value as Sovic space Datta. Make sense? So you are concatenating name, a space, and a surname. It's called concatenation operator, or you can use the plus with simple arithmetic operations as well. You have plus, minus, divide. Star means multiplication, percentile means modulus. Okay, what is modulus? So when you are dividing, for example, 9 divided by, where is my divide? 9 divided by 2. Okay, if I say that, then what is my modulus? When I say 9 divided by 2, I will get the value as what? You know, I will get the value as 4. I will not get the value as 4.5 in terms of Java. Okay, because the value 9 and the value 2, both of them are integers. If I divide an integer with an integer, the fractional part, if there is any fractional part, it will be simply what? Removed. Okay, but if I say 9 modulus 2, what do I get? I get the value as 1. Why 1? Because 2 times 4 is 8, and 9 minus 8 is 1. So the remainder is what you get out of it. So that's 1. That's the modulus. I have some questions coming in for me now for today's class going into. Thanks, Ibrahim. I know variables are used in the runtime. What's the purpose of constant? Toby, did I answer your question there?
Yeah, sorry, I put that a while ago. Yep.
Good, perfect. Okay, no problem. Okay, so with that in place, let's check it. So 9 times 9 percentile 2, 9 modulus 2 is 1. Okay, if I really want to get the value as 4.5, can anybody tell me what will I do? What should I do? Perfect. Ibrahim is absolutely right. It's double. We will not be using integer anymore, right? We will be using double for it, double or float even. So I can just say double. Sorry, I can just say double, say val or num a equals 9, and double ideally 9.0, you know, not 9. You cannot say 9 there. And double num b equals 2.0. And there I say result equals 9.0 divided by 2.0. Okay, and that's where the value will come back to you as 4.5, right? Because otherwise, if you're handling it with int, it will simply take out the 0.5. correct? So that's the arithmetic operator. Relational operator is something similar. You want to really match your left-hand side with the right-hand side. When we were in school, we did a lot of such programs where we had to match LHS with RHS, left-hand side with the right-hand side. And when I'm talking about relational operator, it's exactly the same. You just say LHS is equals to RHS, or if it is not equals to RHS, or if it is greater than equals to RHS, or less than equals to RHS, or just less than or greater than RHS. That's the relational operators. Logical operators are something like this. You can say if LHS is equals to RHS, and this is one condition. If LHS is equals to RHS and num, the value of num is equals to 2. So what you understand here is I'm trying to match up multiple different conditions. I'm trying to get the result for multiple different conditions. Correct? If LHS equals to RHS and num equals to 2, only then do something. Only then do something, right? So that is basically called as a logical operator. You're trying to figure out, you're trying to evaluate multiple different conditions together. Okay. The point is that when, okay, so you have to understand one thing. There is something called, as I have spoken about it in the video, it's called as truth table. It's called as truth table. What is truth table? So this portion over here, LHS equals to RHS. If it is true, if left-hand side is equals to right-hand side, the value that you will be getting back will be a Boolean value and it will be true, correct? And if num is equals to 2, you will also get the Boolean value as true. Okay? LHS equals to RHS is true. Num is also equals to true. If both of these conditions are true, only then the whole equation will be a true. You understand? This is called a truth table. Okay, what do you mean by that? So for example, I can say if the first condition is true and the second condition is false, the whole result will be what? False. Correct? Again, if the first condition is false, second condition is true, the result is false. The whole equation is false. Again, if it is both false, the result is false. And if both true, only then it is true. Only then it is true. If both true, only then it is true, otherwise it's not. This is called a truth table. Why am I saying true and false? Because ideally your program will be written accordingly. So you will say something like this. You will say if this whole equation is true, only then you want to perform something, or you want to print out something or perform something. Correct? Sys out something. You understand me? So you have to understand the truth table. So if any of these condition is false, then the overall execution will be, or this if block will not even work, because as soon as it goes through this guy and it finds that it is wrong, it is false, nothing will execute within this. It'll just come out of the if block. Okay, this is truth table for AND. For OR, it is different. Please look at the video, it will explain you very well. Then we have pre and postfix operator. There is a program that I have given you there. Look at that. Assignment operators are the operators that are needed in order to assign some value to the variable. So for example, I say int num equals 10 or 50, 56. So this is an assignment operator, okay, and assigning the value, okay. When I say plus equals to, what do I mean? What do I mean by that? I say int, or I say num, because I have already declared num earlier. If I say num plus equals 5, and if I say sysout num, can you tell me what will be the value? The value will be 61. Why? Because I say plus equals 5. This means that whatever the value I have inside num, I'm trying to add another 5 to it. And then I get the value as 61. Correct? That's how the num plus equals to works. So anyways, let me try and right. Okay. So that's how it is. Please look at this section. Ask me questions in that sheet, and I will handle it separately. Okay. Arithmetic operators. Okay, these are the guys that I have already given you there. Ternary operator is basically something that you will understand if you understand if else. I think I have explained that. Just look into it. Ternary operator is a very easier way to write if else. So look at this guy over here. Let me try to draw. So it says
Hello,
if yeah.
Can I
yeah.
ask a question? If else, is it not an example of loop?
Sorry?
If else.
Yeah.
Is it not an example of loop?
No,
or...
no.
Okay.
If else is a block. It's just a block. It determines that if a particular condition is true, then I want to do something. And if it is false, then I want to do something else.
Okay, thank you.
That's just a block. Okay, so this is a code block. A loop is something that where you want to do a task iteratively. A lot of people I have seen a lot of people say if loop, and that's a wrong statement. There's nothing called as if loop. There's loops, for loops, do while loop, for each loop. But there's nothing called as if loop. There is a if block. Or you can have a for loop, and inside that you can have a if block. That's feasible. But there's nothing called as a if loop. Okay? Anyways, so ternary operator. So look at this ternary operator, how it is written. So I say A equals B. I say A equals B. If A equals B, that's how I've written this. I mean, ternary operator makes it in one liner. Okay. I say if A equals B, if it is true, then the result variable will get the value as 10. If not, then the result variable will get the value as 6. You understand me? That's how I've written it in one line. If A equals B and then question mark, if A equals B, then that means if it is true, if A is equals to B, then the result will get the value as 10. If not, it'll get the value as 6. So that's how it is. Ternary operator works. Okay, it's just a different format of writing such kind of statements. All right. Next, we will move on to the next part. What is it? All right, arrays. We are still in class 2. Okay, arrays. I have already shown you a couple of examples there. I think you can ask me the question in array if you have. Arrays is nothing but earlier so far we are saying that we can hold one variable, one value inside a variable. You can see we were holding one single variable, one single value inside a variable. That was array. That was normal variable. With arrays, you have a provision to handle multiple or to hold multiple values or multiple numbers inside one variable. That's an array. Okay? Look at the video, ask me questions because we don't have enough time to cover this. Loops. Okay? There are 4 different type of loops: for loop, while loop, do while loop, and for each loop. For loop is basically it performs some kind of a iteration. So all the loops are basically used when you want to perform a task repetitively. That's where you use a for loop or any kind of loop for that matter. Okay. So for example, in here you can see that I want to print all these values. This is an array, int array, and I have given all these values over here, 5 values over here. I want to print them all. How do I print them all? I'm putting a statement inside the for loop, and I'm saying nums of I. Why nums of I? If you remember, when I was talking about arrays sometime back, I said something like this, that okay, not even here, right? I can show you in my Sublime text. Okay, look at this. So this is an array variable, and inside this, if I want to get the first element, I say array of 0 or args of 0, args of 1, args of 2. That's what I say, right? Every time this index is changing. Okay, so if I just replace the args, if I just replace this args, if I do something like this, if I say int I equals 0, and if I say args of I, if I do that, then ideally what is happening? You're pointing to the args of 0, right? Because I is 0. If I say I is 2, then you're pointing to the args of 2. Correct? That's what it is happening. Exactly the same concept. I'm just putting it as I in the for loop. Look at this. That's a for loop. I'm looping. So this is a for loop architecture or a structure. You start from the very initial stage of the loop, and then you go to the maximum length of the loop. Why for loop it is required? What is the difference between these loops? Everything is answered in the video. Look into it, solve the multiple choice questions, solve the assignments, and you will be able to understand what's going on there. Okay. And then I++, it's a postfix operator. Basically, I++ means nothing but you want to increment the value of I. So for example, over here, I'm starting with the I0, that's fine. But if I want to get all the values of the array, this value of I needs to be incremented every time, right? So I can do that by using something called as I++. Okay, I++ will do incrementation at every iteration of that loop. So that's what is we are doing here. It's everything done in one single line. This is the signature or the structure of a for loop. Okay, once that is done, then what do? I just say nums of I, because now at every iteration the value of I is changing, and every time I will get one value extracted out of it bit by bit, and it will print all the values for me. Okay, that's a for loop. This is how the for loop is used, and you can use it. Okay, there are different ways you can use different loops. Then we have a while loop. Okay, while loop is entirely different. Look into the video and ask me questions. Do while loop, for each loop, everything is explained. So that's that. I've also explained another argument type called var args. Okay, this portion, this class version 2, class 2 is quite a lot of information. Please sit and do it. I would like to understand something, because today in the class, a lot of people still didn't complete all the assignments and didn't get time to to complete all of them. So I would like to know whether you want me to enable, because right now if you log in and if you open the course content, you just get week 1 and Wisdom QA introduction. Do you want me to enable week 2, because there are 3 more guys and which are even more advanced, I would like to know whether you want me to enable week 2 for you. I know Ipshita has done it because Ipshita has completed all the assignments and she has also completed the multiple choice questions. Because as soon as you do that, I immediately get a notification in my phone that there is a response that came from someone, and I can easily go and check it. So I saw her responses coming in, so that's really good, Ipshita, that you have completed. Can we have time to do week 1, please? Okay. Okay. So Ibrahim, do you want to stay in week 1 or you want to go for week 2? Because I can do both. Okay, fine. I'll make you enable for week 2 as well. Toby is asking for week 1 only. That's fine. I'll keep it there. I will not enable it for you. What about others? Shane, you want me to include both of it? I'll do that. Who else? Ipshita, yeah, sure. I will do it for you, Ipshita, as well. Who else, guys? Who else? What about Alan, Kate, Ozge? Ozge, week 2 for me as well. Perfect. You mean continue today? Yeah, I mean I'm just asking whether you want to really complete the week 1 and then you want to look for week 2, or you can do both.
Sorry, I have a question. This week 2, you may continue today, or?
No. So if you look at my application here, so this is how it happens, right? Every week I release 3 videos. Okay.
Okay.
So if you look at my menu here, you can see that I have week 1 enabled for you right now, and there are 4 videos here. And then I am planning to enable week 2 for you, and there are 3 videos here. So ideally, in the next weekend, next Sunday when we meet, we are going to cover the summary of week 2 only. Today we have covered the summary of week 1.
Okay, I agree with that.
So if it is not too much for you to complete all of them, then I can just enable, I will not enable week 2 for you. Do you want me to do that? Or
I agree for next week, next weekend for week 2.
You will be able to complete all of them?
Yes, of course.
Me too, Toby. I can complete it as well, and I think Shane wants both as well.
Yeah. Perfect. I will do that. Because I really want to get questions coming in. This summary class is there because I want you to be fully interactive with me in this class. I want to get questions from you, and the questions can come in only and only if you have completed the MCQs, you have completed the assignments, you have completed the videos, and that's where you will be having questions for me, and then I can smoothly glide through the summary classes by handling any questions that you have. Okay, so that's how it is. Okay, perfect. So that's the situation. Yeah.
Sorry,
No problem.
Do we summarize the assignments too?
Yeah, we do. But right now I see that there is no one has done any assignments because I have just added the assignments folder right now. I think just Ipshita has completed it and nobody did. So if I summarize the assignments today, then there is no point in having the assignments. So the idea is that you just simply use my application. You go to the respective folder. So this is week 1. Sorry, not in here. There is no assignments in class 1, but if you go to class 2, 3, 4, so if you go to class 3, for example, and you go in here in the Google Drive, you will get the assignments like this. You open it, and you have assignments right there. Okay, you see all these assignments right there, and you complete the assignments, and that's where I can then summarize them, or I will show you how to implement them, right? And then I will add a solution of mine inside the assignments folder as well, so that you can refer to it. Is this clear?
Yep.
Thanks. Yeah, but today it doesn't really make sense because we don't have anybody else completed the assignment except Ipshita. So that's the situation. All right. So I'll quickly run.
We can all take our answers.
No, I don't think so. No. Otherwise,
oh,
there's
okay.
no
You never see it on the assignment folder. Yeah. Where do we
No.
drop the assignments once we're done? Do we drop that
Yeah,
for you?
yeah. You. That's why I created this folder here. I will send you a link. So please join the Slack channel, guys. If you have could not load. What happened? Reload Slack. Anyways, let it reload. Yeah, it's coming in. Okay. Anyways, let me go back here. I have asked. I think most of you guys have done it. If you didn't do it, just go in here, click on this guy. That'll take you to the Slack channel integration. I mean, Slack channel there for Wisdom QA. You just log into it, and then in this Slack, you can communicate with. So right now we are going through a lockdown. We are working from home, and if you roadblock in between the week, I have no problem to answer you. You can see my channel for other batches, like May 2020 batch, and these people constantly talk to me. You can see that they constantly talk to me over the week, and I help them by even logging into their system and fixing any roadblock that they have. So you have my full support, but just that you need to start interacting with me. This is July batch that I have created. Just start putting in your questions. Here, if you have any road, you can interact with me. I always, follow this channel. Me and Pavan, we are, constantly monitoring this. If you have any questions, I'm here to help. And during this phase where we are working from home, it's easier for me to quickly get into a call to you and fix the issue. So use this wisely as well. All right. And for the assignments, as I said, just put it here. I will just give you the link. I'll put this link there in the folder and in the Slack channel, and you can go inside that and start filling your assignments inside your name. Just follow the same format like everybody does under your name like this. Just start putting your assignments like this, right? Project class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this. Yeah, that's how I will be able to see it, and then I will give you a summary of the assignments as well. Okay, let's see what we have in class 3 and 4. Sorry, class 3. Class 3, I think I have just spoken about operators, and there is no slide deck here. Those are all covered in class 2 slide deck, operators. And then in the class 4, we had spoken about loops. So ideally, one presentation that I have given to you, it covers all of it. No, I think assignment loops, class 3 presentation. What is Selenium jar? Let me see what I have in class 4, okay? Class 4. So class 3 talks about mathematical operator, assignment operators. This gives you a quick understanding that what are you learning about. And if you click on this, let me go to class 4. Yeah, here I'm talking about loops, varargs, Java class, and objects. Okay, Java class and objects. So look into them as well. What is object? It's a lot on there. So please take a look into it. And this week, I'm going to enable cloud for all of you guys. Any questions you have, come back to me in the channel, ask me here in the sheet, and let's get it done. Yeah. So that's it for summary class 1. Next week, we will again have it for 2.5 hours. Today we have spent almost 40 minutes towards introduction. It was necessary to have an introduction, but next week we will not have that, so we'll have another 40 minutes to fill up the entire summary with the relevant content. So far, what do you think about the training, guys? What do you think about it? Do you think this is something that will really help you? Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, guys. All right. So have a great week ahead. I'm just going to enable this. You just need to simply refresh the, all you have to do is you have to come to the same page, just refresh the page again, and just open up your course content menu, and that will open up like this with a new week enabled. That's all. I can control all of it from my admin panel, that what week to give to which guy. So I can do that. If you are not able to see week 2, do reach me out in WhatsApp if possible, if not in Slack, wherever it's feasible. Just reach me out and I'll look into it. Okay. By the way, I just want to understand one thing. How is this application performing? Do you see it as performing well, or do you want to fix something in this application? Because this setup that you see here, it was not like this earlier. I used to have a very static site in my first batch, or even in the second batch. We were just having a very static site. I implemented this just before starting your batch. So just want to know what you think about this application in terms of performance. Very okay. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I was thinking. I was also thinking if apart from the Slack, and you've also improved the quiz, which is quite good. It would be nice as well in future if you could include some virtual interactive platform where like past and current students or team members can practice setting assignments as a group thing. It should be very, very good, because some people are very laid back in terms of doing things on their own. Like some of us are not in automation, like other team members are. They've got the feel, they've got the structure, they know what to do. But for some of us, we struggle for 1 or 2 weeks. So if we get that kind of virtual, maybe once every 2-3 weeks, we do a group session where we can all interact, like run a program together. You know, that would be very, very, encouraging, for.
So for that, I can enable you guys just like that, because if you guys can talk to each other in the Slack channel, then you can set up a time that works for everybody. And then what we can do is I can simply get you guys into a Zoom meeting, the one that I already have. You guys can get into a Zoom meeting. You can basically have a group session together to discuss about it. I mean, all you have to do is you have to just interact with each other in the Slack and come to a common ground that when you guys want to meet, and then I can set it up for you guys. Should not be a big concern at all.
I also want to ask one thing about the week 2. I've seen you've there's HTML layout and stuff. Does it include CS, selectors, XPath, and all those things, or is just basic HTML?
No. So you have to learn the entire CSS, entire XPath, HTML and HTML components, because when you're trying to interact with HTML, you have to learn HTML components or HTML tags. So everything is coming up one by one. So don't bother about it. So regarding Slack channel, guys, look at this portion here, right? So if you go to my dashboard, you just click on this guy, this portion over here. Click on this guy. That'll take you to our Wisdom QA Slack channel, and then just give your email address, whatever the email address that you are using, the one that you registered with us, and then just say continue, which will help you to log in to the Slack channel, and then just download a Slack desktop application for your mobile as well as for your desktop. This is a Slack desktop client, right? This is a Slack client that I have installed, so you can just simply install it into your system and also into your phone, so that you guys are always updated and you guys can talk to each other. And then that's how it is. Yeah. So I was actually talking about the performance of this application, guys, that you are using right now. What do you think about it? Is it loading fine, all the videos, all the content? Do you see any issue with that? What do you think about it? A bit slow. Which portion do you think it's slow? Is it in the home page or in the page where you watch the videos? Yeah, in the login. So login in the accessing. Okay. Yeah, I understand that part. So login sometimes is a little bit slow, right? Yeah, I'm trying to work on it to make it a little better. So yeah, great. Thanks for the feedback, guys. And all right, so please keep in touch. Don't just get invisible during the week. Talk to me. Talk to other students. Be vocal, and let's meet back same time next week. So yeah, Ibrahim, you can just put all these chat that you're saying in the Slack channel so that everybody will be responding you there. Okay. Perfect, guys. Thanks a lot. I will see you guys next week, same time, 10 o'clock, the same meeting link. Next week, we'll come back and see it from here. Okay. Have a great week ahead, guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thanks, Noah. Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.